the News Channel 5 network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. The August primary is now in the rearview mirror, and the fall campaigns for the U.S. Senate and the governor's chair in Tennessee are underway. To look at what's happening, what it means, and reflect back one last time on how we got here, we welcome Republican political analyst Deborah Maggart to the show, along with Democrat Larry Woods. Folks, thanks for coming back again. Now, what happened on election night? Nobody thought that the two primaries in the Senate side would be close, but I think on the Republican side for governor, they thought that was going to be a very close race, Deborah, a three-way race, yet Bill Lee won it handily. How?
Right up to the end, people were talking about, they thought Bill Lee might win, but anything could happen. So people, I think, had just decided, who knew? Because we had four great candidates. We had a wonderful bench, and so all four of them ran a great campaign.
So, Larry, was the difference what happened with the attack ads the last couple of weeks and the way Bill Lee responded to them?
In a multi-candidate race where you've got more than two real competitors, such as the Republican governor's primary with four, when two of the major candidates are running a lot of negative ads, they both get hurt by their own ads as well as the opponent.
It was a circular firing squad after a while. All four of them
and
were doing
therefore the third and fourth place person move up. I agree with Deborah. We all knew or thought we knew that Bill Lee was moving up. I don't think any of us were really confident he had moved up that much and that fast. So in that sense, it was surprising.
Diane Black and Randy Boyd were supposed to be the front runners through most of this. They were the ones that at least started most of the attacks. But they had some other problems, perhaps. Did Randy Boyd perhaps go away from what a lot of people thought about him in terms of his real positions on immigration and maybe on President Trump?
Well, so I've heard people say that they thought maybe he was trying to be somebody, maybe that he wasn't
maybe
there
too far to the right?
Yeah, right, that maybe that wasn't the real him. But, he may have peaked too early, too. There's some conversation out there. He got in so early and he had plenty of money. He had, he got his name ID up there. So there's some talk of that maybe he just peaked too soon.
Larry, Diane Black had some negatives even in the early polling when people saw high name recognition for her, but some residual negatives in there. Did that start to become a bigger problem for her, especially as voters got to know on the Republican side the other candidates like Bill Lee and maybe decided, well, that's the person I want to vote for?
I think so, because in the Republican primary, Bill Lee and Randy Boyd, before all the negativity, and certainly Beth Harwell, come across as very appealing, very likable candidates. Now, Beth Harwell got hurt because she was so busy with the legislature, she wasn't out across the state. Randy Boyd got hurt with too much negativity, although I think more fairly he got hurt because he didn't do as well in East Tennessee as he had anticipated, planned, hoped for. So yeah, it's just inevitable. The momentum takes over, and Bill Lee was in the perfect spot at the perfect time to benefit from that.
Now, President Trump has endorsed in primaries this year. He's made a difference in some primaries. He did not endorse in the governor's race here. A lot of people thought he was going to endorse perhaps for Diane Black. Why didn't he, Deborah?
I don't know. I know that I have heard that the Black campaign was very anxious to get his endorsement. And so I do think it would have made a difference.
She only won 4 counties. Do you think they would have made a big enough difference that she might have won?
Well, perhaps.
That's a pretty big hole she got into.
Sure. Perhaps they looked at the polling and thought maybe they shouldn't take take that chance. She did try very hard, though, to align herself with Donald Trump, and I know he's still very popular in the state. And Pence came out and endorsed her the Friday before because they had served together.
That was kind of the consolation prize,
yeah.
Which isn't bad, but it's not Donald Trump.
It wasn't Donald Trump. That's true.
But I think what that shows, the interplay or lack of between Diane Black and Donald Trump, especially for the Blackburn-Bredesen Senate election in November, is that Trump's popularity, as with most political figures, doesn't transfer over to people he likes and endorses automatically, or at least not enough of it does. And that's a bad sign for Marsha Blackburn in the Senate election, I suspect.
Deborah, the Democrats are also making a big deal out of the fact that Republicans in Congress that are coming back, like Diane Black did, to run for office in their home state, aren't doing very well this year.
I think 5 of them may have already lost that did that. So, but again, nothing against Diane, but she was coming from Congress, and Donald
Trump has even worse polls than anybody.
Sure, and Donald Trump has named the Congress what? the swamp. So, you know, that's not helpful when you come from the swamp, I think.
I think that's exactly right.
We've had a record $50 million spent in the governor's race, and we have barely started the general election campaign. Diane Black and Randy Boyd spent $50 million themselves and their own money, and as a part of that, that's $30 million of their own money. Is self-funding your own race? There's a history in Tennessee that doesn't work very well if you're going to win.
I agree. Look at Phil Bredesen's early campaign attempts for mayor and Congress in Nashville, where he was not successful. He self-funded and just couldn't get up the momentum and support to win.
The Gold Dust Twins from '74 with Butcher and Haney.
That's another good example.
About the way they self-financed in those days, people would think would pocket change today.
That's exactly right. They were the Gold Dust Twins. They kept putting their money in, it didn't do them any good. Yeah, you've got to have public support. You've got to have organizational help. Then you can self-fund, but first you've got to have the public support.
You all might remember this better than I do, but didn't he or partially self-fund in his race against Van Hillary in 2002? Was it
yes.
A lot of self-funding there?
I was present when he had to grimace a few times and write a check.
That might have been the first time.
But that was late in that election. Okay. He had raised a tremendous amount of money, as you have to, as we know, to run statewide.
Like I remember,
and in the closing days, he needed, especially in East Tennessee, to run some more ads, and he wrote a check to do it.
Sure. Larry Woods and Deborah Maggott are our guests on the Democratic and Republican side. We're talking about the upcoming starting the general election for both the U.S. Senate and governor. Back to continue our conversation after you watch these messages.